A very happy Easter to you who are joining us, whether that's at the Green Bay campus, the Pere campus, or our online campus. What a great day to celebrate an empty tomb and all that it changes and means in our lives. You know, as Christians, we've done a lot during this past week that we're finishing up now called Holy Week. There's a guy that I follow named Chad Bird, and he summed the importance of this week up this way. He said this: in the Christian church calendar, Holy Week is the greatest week in the history of the world, repreached, relived, and regifted annually. So we never forget how far Jesus goes to get us home to our Father. There are several events that we as Christians celebrate during Holy Week. We start out with Palm Sunday. Jesus rides into Jerusalem humbly into hostile territory to save us. Then we gather for Maundy Thursday. And here at St. Mark, we gathered around a soup supper. And then after that, came in for worship and gathered around the Lord's table for forgiveness and salvation. And then there was that evil Friday that Christians call good, when it looks as though darkness and evil have the upper hand. And then there is Easter Sunday, with its empty tomb, and we celebrate Jesus' victory over sin, death, and Satan with glazed ham, colored Easter eggs, chocolate bunnies, and multicolored jelly beans made from substances we can't identify. So tell me, what did you and your family do to celebrate the Saturday of Holy Week? No one talks about Saturday. It's the Saturday after the Friday execution of Jesus. The disciples are probably waking up, and they probably haven't slept for about 2 days. The city that the day before had cried for blood is now quiet. The disciples are huddled together. What did they do on Saturday? It's interesting to note that the day on either side of Saturday has a great deal of discussion about it. Theologians have written pages and books and volumes about all that happened on the days on either side of Saturday. The Bible gives us great details about what happened on Good Friday and Easter Sunday. But today I want us to talk about Saturday. Saturday, the forgotten day of the Easter weekend. You know, even the Bible itself, with the exception of one detail, that the soldiers stood guard even on Saturday, doesn't tell us anything about Saturday. Saturday, the day where nothing happened. It's likely the disciples were gathered together and they're talking. They're trying to come to grips with what everyone else is thinking. Jesus is dead. Jesus actually failed. Oh, he meant well. He meant well. He's just going to get enough followers. And he couldn't garner the support of the religious leaders of the day. And he wasn't willing to make a deal with Rome at all. Not enough ordinary people could understand his message. Make matters worse, he couldn't count on his disciples to be courageous in a moment of great crisis. We can understand where the disciples were at this moment. We know Saturday well. Saturday's the day your dream dies. Oh, you still got to get up the next morning. You got to go on. But you don't understand why the plan didn't work, why your dream didn't come to fruition. You don't know, but you're still here. And that raises a question about our Easter celebration. Why is there even a Saturday of Holy Week? It doesn't seem to really fit. If God the Father's plan to rescue us is to send his son to be crucified and then resurrected, why does he divide those two great events over 3 days? Because that seems to be the pattern God often uses when he rescues people. Theologians who study the Old Testament tell us that there's often this 3-day pattern of rescue that God uses in the Old Testament. Others refer to it as a 3-event pattern where God saves people or rescues them. And it repeats all the time in the Old Testament. For example, when Abraham was quite concerned that he was actually going to have to sacrifice his son Isaac, on the 3rd day, God provides a substitute sacrifice, a ram, for that sacrifice. When Joseph's brothers are thrown in prison in Egypt, it's on the 3rd day that they're released. When the Israelite spies are told by Rahab the prostitute that they can hide from the enemies over here, it's after 3 days that they are safe. When Queen Esther hears that her people are going to be slaughtered because they're Jews, she prays and she fasts. On the 3rd day, the king calls her into his court favorably. That 3-event story repeats itself so often that the Old Testament prophet Hosea uses it. He says this, "Come, let us return to the Lord. He has torn us to pieces. After 2 days, he will revive us. On the 3rd day, he will restore us, that we may live in his presence." All these stories have the same structure. The 1st day or 1st event, trouble, disaster. The 3rd day or 3rd event, deliverance, rescue. The 2nd day, silence, continued trouble. But Easter Sunday did come with its empty tomb. And the empty tomb of Easter changes everything for people who live on Saturday. It was Sunday morning after the crucifixion of Jesus on Friday. It's probably still dark. The disciples are still huddled together somewhere behind locked doors. And the Roman executioner is probably thinking about what he's going to have for breakfast, maybe even contemplating his next day off. He certainly is not wondering about the Jew he had crucified the Friday before. Oh, he knew his job and he was good at his job. He even pierced his side. He knew Jesus was dead. Jesus was yesterday's news. Wrong. God was about to shake things up. Matthew 28. There was a violent earthquake, for an angel of the Lord came down from heaven and, going to the tomb, rolled back the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothes were white as snow. The guards were so afraid of him that they shook and became like dead men. The angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you're looking for Jesus, who was crucified. He is not here. He is risen, just as he said. Come and see the place where he lay." Had such words never been written, had Jesus' body disintegrated to dust in a borrowed tomb, we wouldn't be studying this text, and we certainly wouldn't be here worshiping. But these words were written, and Jesus made that promise several times. He does appear to the women physically on Easter morning at the tomb. He appears to his disciples that night behind locked doors and windows. He even appears to a couple disciples on Easter Sunday who are walking the road to Emmaus. And later he'll appear to his friends and disciples on the shore of Galilee. They will see him. They will touch him. They will eat with him. They will speak to him. They will hear him. And they will be convinced that Jesus is physically risen from the dead. Easter Sunday's empty tomb changes everything for people who live on Saturday. Easter Sunday's empty tomb gives us the courage to continue to live on Saturday because we ultimately know Saturday doesn't last forever. We don't live in a perfect world. And one of the major reasons for that is all of you people and me. The reason we have trouble in this world is because we are in it. We bring trouble into other people's lives, and other people bring trouble into our lives and our world. That's because by nature we're selfish people who demand to get our way, and sometimes we'll lie. We're conniving. We'll stretch the truth. We'll make up the truth. We'll think that God doesn't know what he's doing, so we'll shake our fist at him, pretending that we know more than God. We're not perfect. Let's face it, we're not even good most of the time. I mean, if our thoughts could kill, how many people would be dead? And God demands perfection, and that's not me and that's not you. And the truth is, and Christianity will be the only one that'll tell you the truth. The truth is, God doesn't owe you anything. Stop thinking he does. The only thing that we deserve from God is what Jesus called eternal separation from him in a place called hell. That's why we need a rescuer. And that's why we have trouble in life, because you people cause trouble in your life through poor choices and selfishness. And I cause trouble in my life, and maybe yours, through poor choices as well. That's why we have trouble in this world. Jesus told us this when he said this, "In this world you will have trouble. You may be a victim of injustice or crime. Your plan or dream may crash and burn. That relationship may go sideways. Your health may fade. Accidents happen. It's still hard to live on Saturday. But the empty tomb gives us the courage to live on Saturday as well, because it doesn't last forever. That's why Jesus gives us the rest of the story with this passage. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. It is this confidence from Jesus, with Jesus, and in Jesus that gives us the courage to live on Saturday, keeping our eyes focused on a future promise to us. The Apostle Paul talked about that confidence only Jesus followers have. In 2 Corinthians 4, he says, "But we have this treasure in jars of clay, to show that the surpassing power belongs to God and not us. We are afflicted in every way," isn't that true? "But not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed, knowing that he who raised the Lord Jesus will raise us also with Jesus and bring us with you into his presence. So we do not lose heart. Though the outer self is wasting away, our inner self is being renewed day by day. For this light momentary affliction is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison, as we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, but the unseen things are eternal." Paul believed that the moment he took his last breath on this earth, he'd get his first glimpse of Jesus in heaven. And the same thing is true for you if you're listening as a Jesus follower. One day you're going to say goodbye to your loved ones, and then immediately you're going to say hello to Jesus. And that's good news. It's also this good news. Easter Sunday and its empty tomb reminds us we're not home yet. Friends, you actually right now are living between two trees. There is the tree of life in Genesis chapter 2. And then there's the tree of life at the end in Revelation 22. And those are the bookends of the history of the human race on this earth. You are not just some result of some cosmic chance soup. Stop teaching people that. Stop believing that. You're more valuable to God than that. You're not that at all. God has much more for you. We happen to live between two trees. Christianity teaches this startling, stunning truth. And listen, As Jesus followers, what you have before your death, you're going to have after your death. Just much, 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 much better. The moment you die, you're going to be in paradise, in heaven with Jesus. That's what he said to the thief on the cross, right? But when you're in heaven, you're still not going to be finally home. Let me explain. The Bible teaches that when a Christian, when a Jesus follower dies, they immediately go to heaven. Body and soul separate. Your body stays here, doesn't matter what condition it's in. And the soul goes to heaven. And there in heaven, our loved ones enjoy, what do they enjoy? They enjoy peace and beauty we can't imagine. No pain, no sorrow, no death. Reunion with loved ones who are Christians who got there before them. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But the Bible also teaches that the people in heaven right now, they don't know a lot of things. They're not watching you on earth. There's no indication in Scripture that that's true, and you wouldn't want them to watch you. But the one thing that we're told that they do know is they do know, according to Revelation 6, that Judgment Day hasn't come yet. And so they know that they're not in their final home. Your mom, my dad, my brother, maybe your friend, maybe your child, in a real sense, they can't wait to get out of heaven. When Jesus comes again, a lot happens in the blink of an eye. John tells us, the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God. All who are in their graves will hear his voice. They will come out. Now, I've stood in cemeteries now for 40 years. And every time I stand in a cemetery, I kind of look around and imagine this happening. When I was a pastor in Baraboo, we lived about a block away from a cemetery. And it had old parts of the cemetery. Some of the stones were very old, and the weather had worn away the names. And the dirt in front of the tombstones hadn't been turned over for over a century. Just looked like any ordinary gravesite around the world. But if these words are true, then that place is going to witness a miracle beyond words. The same God who shook the dirt of Jerusalem on Easter Sunday is one day going to shake the dirt in that small cemetery in Baraboo, Wisconsin. The grass is going to be pushed away from the inside. The coffins are going to open up. And the bodies of forgotten farmers are going to meet the Lord in the air. According to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, one of our readings, if you're still alive as a Christian when Jesus comes back, you're going to be taken by angels and meet him in the air. It's going to be quite a ride. Going to be quite a sight. In the blink of an eye, something else happens. Your bodies will be changed to be like Jesus' glorious body. John tells us, when Jesus appears, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. We shall be like him. Let the amputees and the infected, the bedridden and the sick, go to bed tonight comfortable in this promise: we shall be like him. Let the wheelchair bound and the atrophied go through life with confidence that it gets better. Saturday doesn't last forever, with this promise: we shall be like him. We shall graduate from this version of his likeness, and you and I will be given a body, a brand new physical glorified body, because that's the kind of body you're going to need for your new home. The Bible teaches when Jesus comes again, now body and soul come back together. And now you receive a glorified body, a perfect body, because heaven changes then. Right now, heaven is a dimension where the souls of our loved ones who believe in Jesus are right now. When Jesus comes again, heaven changes to be a place. So we need a body where we can stand on that place. And he puts body and soul back together. And that body is going to be perfect, like Jesus' body. And he's going to renovate this world. That's what becomes heaven. That's why you meet him in the sky, because he renovates the earth with fire and he doesn't want you standing on it. And then he brings us down to, it's probably going to look a lot like this. It's not going to look like an alien planet. But it's going to be perfect, glorified. The home that you're going to live forever in with brand new bodies. That's the promise Jesus gave through Peter when he said this. But in keeping with his promise, we are looking forward to a new heaven, literally a new sky and a new earth, where righteousness dwells, or where the righteous people live. Imagine a world where there are cities and metropolises and, villages and roads and an economy, maybe businesses, whatever, meadows and hillsides, and millions of people, and no sin. That's what awaits. And all of that hinges on an empty tomb on Easter Sunday. Jesus is literally, the Bible calls him, the first fruits of the resurrection. It says, but Christ has indeed been raised from the dead, the first fruits of those who have fallen asleep. But each in turn, Christ, the first fruits, then when he comes, those who belong to him. First fruits is the first taste of the crop. A farmer can anticipate the quality of his crop and the nature of it by tasting just a first portion of it. If you want to go ahead and understand maybe what your resurrection body is going to be like, or what your own personal resurrection is going to be like, just study and believe in the resurrection of Jesus. That truth is going to give you enormous comfort and confidence as you continue to live on Saturday. And you're going to need that. Truth be told, some of you right now, you're doing life with a battle and road-weary body. Your joints ache. Your skin sags. Your eyes are fading. Others of you, you exited the womb with an uphill battle. It's still difficult, it's still troubling to live on Saturday between the trees. There's still going to be tragedies, my friend, until Jesus comes again. There's still going to be moms and dads who hear the doctor give them news that their child has a terminal illness. And those parents will pray like mad, and they will think that God is deaf to their cries. You're going to have a friend who you text yesterday, but you can't text him today because accidents happen. There's going to be a spouse who really wants to save her marriage, but her husband wants nothing to do with it. And she's really concerned for her kids. And she cries out to God, but it seems like heaven's deaf. Yeah, it's still going to be difficult to live on Saturday. And although I don't have any easy answers for the struggle you may be enduring right now, I implore you to wait. Continue to work with the Lord, who sometimes seems distant. I'd encourage you to take the same role as the people who cried out in the Psalms when they didn't understand what God was allowing to happen. They rested, they asked, they whined a little, they complained, but ultimately they trusted. Jesus knows all about the hardship and trouble of living in this world this Saturday. After all, he lived here for a while. But keep this one truth in mind. It's Saturday, but Sunday's coming.